Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy Note 20, and today I'll show you a couple tweaks and tricks that I can do on this device. So, starting off, we're going to begin with probably the most common one, which will be the dark mode, and you can access it simply, I believe, through notification panel, somewhere in here. There should be a toggle for it. There we go, dark mode. Tap on it and everything turns dark. Now the benefit of this also, apart from it looking a little bit, I guess, more modern, would be also the fact that this is a AMOLED display, so anything that is completely dark, like black background right here, doesn't actually need to be rendered, lit up, and it does, because of it, save the battery. Now it won't be anything like drastic, you won't be getting basically twice as much usage out of it, but it still will be some battery saved that when you're using just this dark theme. And apart from it, well, changing the notification panel, it also changes things like settings. So if you go into the settings, as you can see, it also turns dark, and majority of the apps that come preloaded with the device will also change. Additionally, apps that you have downloaded, some of them might be affected by it, some might not. Some also will have dark mode, but one that you need to enable yourself through the application settings. So if your app that you're using, that you have downloaded, isn't really in dark mode, it might have it somewhere in the settings, or it just might flat out not support dark mode. And that has nothing to do with the phone, that is more to do with the developer of the application, so keep that in mind. Now moving on to the next one, it's going to be the screen mode, and just simply allows you to reduce, for instance, the saturation of the device. Now by default it is quite severe on here in my opinion, a little bit too overdone. If you, for instance, go to like your app tray and you look at the icons, for instance, like the reddish from YouTube, it is just unpleasant to look at in my opinion. It's just too saturated. And to change this, if you're kind of like me, you can go into the settings, and then under the display you will find screen mode and change it from vivid to natural, and this will reduce that god-awful saturation. The amount of it is just absurd. So now if we go back to the app tray, you can see that YouTube isn't necessarily blasting my irises with this harsh red light as an example, and everything is just a little bit more toned down. Now if you're not a fan of this kind of like less saturated colors, then by all means keep it at vivid. Personally, I prefer to have it a little bit less colorful. Now moving on to the next one, it's going to be the simple gesture navigation. Now this is something that probably majority of the people by now already used, but basically allows you to remove those buttons on the bottom and substitute them just for gestures. So you'll swipe your finger up to go home, swipe and hold to go to reset, and swipe from sides to simply go back. And there will be no buttons visible basically. So to get it enabled, let's go into the settings, and from here again we're going to go to the display, and then scroll down to navigation bar, and we have these full screen gestures. Select that, and maybe it's not completely invisible, there is a tiny little bar visible as you can see, but apart from that also gives you a little bit of an animation on how it's being used. So just to showcase it, slide up, it goes to recent, swipe up quickly, goes home, and then if you're in an app, so let me quickly open something up. When you're in an app and you swipe from the side, you can see that there is a tiny arrow appearing, and that arrow will appear from either side as you can see. So when you do that, it simply goes back. So it makes the device a little bit cleaner in my opinion without those buttons on the bottom. Also, apps shift a little bit lower on the home screen to accommodate the extra space that has just been that just appeared there. So just a overly nice addition in my opinion. Now moving on to the next one, it's going to be the pop-up view. Now, not sure if you ever experienced pop-up view. Some devices also have it, like for instance Huawei, but on Huawei comparing to here, here it's taken to the next step. So if you, for instance, go into pop-up view, there we go, we have one mediocrely opened pop-up view. Now apart from it being open in pop-up view, you can also resize it if you want to, and you can also go a little bit further. So why limit yourself to only one when you can open another one? Let me quickly resize this too. Let's keep opening just to showcase how menu we can open. I'm not gonna go too crazy about it, but already opening up 3 is more than any other device can do. So as you can see, we have now 3 different apps open that can be moved around, resized, and that is apart from the split screen, which you can still open in the background, or well, usually split screen is foreground, but when the apps are basically on top of it, I would consider it the background. But you can still have 2 different apps also in a split screen view if you want to, and those, I don't know if there is actually a limit to it, haven't tried it. Honestly, 3 seems already like quite decent amount to have open in this kind of view. They are fairly small at the moment, but you can, like I said, resize them if you want to. So yeah, just a nice way to multitask here. Let me quickly close it and move on to the next one, which will be the side panel, and this is this little barely visible thing right on the side. So when you swipe it up, it's quite lackluster, honestly. Not much is in here by default. Before they actually were cramming a couple of different pages, which you can still add. But right now it shows you just a application. I believe they are the most used application right here. But if we go into settings right here, you can, as you can see, add a couple additional things. So we have Samsung members, live messages, people, Smart Select. That's one of the things that was previously available. It's also quite a useful thing to have. Allows you to capture screenshots, but with more control. So you can capture a specific area of a screen that you can select. You can capture screenshots and circular screenshots. Then we have also tasks, weather, tools, reminders, clipboard, and those are the ones that are already installed. You can still go to Galaxy Store and get even more. So if you want to, you can basically push this even further. As you can see, there is plenty of them. Now I'm not sure if every one of them is free. That is something that you will have to check out yourself, but at the moment it actually looks like all of them are free. So completely up to you. You probably will find some that have more use for you than others. Some of them might be completely useless. Did my pen just died? Oh, there we go. So some of them might be completely useless. So yeah. Now moving on to the next one, we're going to go into the video enhancer. Now this is just something that will enhance only the video and provided apps. So let's go into the settings to actually get this enabled, and you can also see what apps it supports. And scroll down to advanced features. You can scroll down to video enhancer. You can enable it right here, then click on it. As you can see, I believe those are all the apps that I actually have right now on the device, so you can select each one of them if you want to be supported. As you can see, available apps, those are the ones that are supported. And also if you check it on or off, you can see the difference in the image. So it looks like with the video enhancer, it makes the dark areas a little bit brighter, clear, a bit more visible, I would say, without actually sacrificing on overexposing the image itself. So just a nice addition. Now if you don't like it, you can just keep it off. You can also test it around by playing videos and seeing this enabled and disabled and seeing which one suits you better. Then moving on to the next one, it's going to be swipe down for notification panel. Now this is something that I find that should be selected by default in my opinion, but basically what it does is removes the double app tray. So when you swipe up, you have app tray. When you swipe down, you have app tray. Makes one kind of redundant in my opinion. So it allows you to switch it up with, when you swipe down, instead of opening up the app tray, it will just pull down the notification panel. So you don't actually have to reach all the way to the top. And this is primarily handy when you're using the phone one-handed, so you don't have to do that hand gymnastics and trying to reach straight to the top of the device just to pull your notification down. So to get it, let's go into the settings. And from here we're gonna go into, actually not settings, my bad. Let's leave this and hold our finger and go to home screen settings right there. This is just gonna be an easier way to get there. And from here we should see the switch for it. So swipe down for a notification panel. Boom, enable that, leave, swipe up again. And now, as you will see, I will swipe down from basically as far down as I possibly can. And it pulls down the notification panel, as you can see. And still, your up tray is accessible by simply swiping up like so. So you're not losing anything, you're gaining additional functionality in my opinion. And the fact that you can swipe down from the middle of the screen to get notification panel is a really nice thing to do. To have, considering this is, well, one UI. It's supposedly designed for one-handed use and easier access on a big display, so I'm not sure exactly why it's not enabled by default. Now moving on further to the next one, it's gonna be changing up the, as we call it, side key now. You probably are all used to that this is a power key, and if you're like me and can't really get over the fact that when you're pressing to try to power off the device, it will open up Bixby. I personally don't use Bixby. No one cares. So I don't personally care for it. I don't use it at all. And this basically makes it kind of annoying when you're trying to hold the power key to turn it off. Now, I do know that we can hold power key and I believe volume up to access this, but it's just the fact that every other device keeps it just as a single power key. This is something that I'm just used to and I would prefer to keep it. So luckily we can actually get it back by going into the settings and then advanced features right almost at the bottom. And from here we have the side key. And as you can see, we have click launch, double click, so quick launch camera. This is a typical thing to do, to have enabled, I would say. Majority of the devices use it that way. But then we have the single hold in a way. So we have wake Bixby, no one cares. So let's switch it for power off menu. And now, as you can see, we get the typical power off stuff, which I'm personally, just something that I prefer rather than the Bixby. And also you can set it for double press to have additional functions. So instead of opening up camera, you can set it to open up some kind of an app. So if that is something that you would like, you can set it up. Now I'm gonna quickly showcase it, for instance, with the App Store. And if I click it, it opens up App Store. Now we would also do that if I wouldn't have any kind of pattern protection on the device. Kind of makes it defeats the purpose of it when you have a pattern, because it will not open anything apart from camera when the device is locked. So as you can see now it's closed, and if I double press it, there we go. If I double press it, it tries to unlock it, but we need to confirm it, and after we do, it opens up the app. So probably better without any protection, but then I personally prefer to have protection on my device. And moving on to the last one, it will be something that I have been using for this entire time, which is the S Pen. Now, apart from me being able to just touch around instead of my finger, for you to be able to see more on the recording, it has additional functionalities. So number one, you can go here and we have a bunch of different things. So we have create note, and we can start just drawing. You do have also an option to change the written text to actual like typed text. So you can basically write down messages and they will be converted to an actual like normal message, as though you would type it on a keyboard. But the functionality of this extends even further to things like camera, as an example. Let's disable this, I don't want a location. So as you can see, there is the pen. It captures a photo. If you actually press the button, you can switch it around to different modes, as you can see, by simply pressing the button and swiping to the side. Also, you can press right here to see additionally, or normally I believe there was a pop-up when you, I think, first launch it, so it shows you what it can do. Oh, there we go, that's where you access it. So there is the different things you can do with the camera and gestures with the pen. So we have a next mode, previous mode, switch camera, so switch up and down camera. Double press, I guess that's the same thing as just up and down. And then just a single press is take a picture or record a video. That just depends on what kind of mode it is set to. So let's actually try it up. If I would actually not close it. So swipe up, there we go, that's the back camera. Swipe up again, goes back to front. Swipe down, does the same thing. And again, we can slide through different modes. I think I just started recording. Let's stop it, please stop it. There we go. So as you can see, now I'm not touching the display as stop recording. Now I think I'm moving it a little bit wrong. There we go. I think I went all the way back, but as you can see, I am not pressing anything. So the way I'm holding it right now, it's a little bit wonky because I'm trying to keep it on the camera and also do the functions. Now I believe if I just kind of get the pen out of the way, not flipped it. So you can see right now it's working fairly well. Now I'm doing a little bit of wider arcs with my hand to get this to work, but as you can see, it works fairly well. So there's way more with the pen that you can do. I'm just trying to show a little bit of a basic. You can venture onwards and try to find things that you will find more useful with the pen. Honestly, the camera is fairly nice in my opinion because you can just set the device somewhere on the side and actually control the camera with this just pen that is connected via Bluetooth, and it has a fairly decent range. So, well, decent range in terms of you can still be on the photo and use this to capture the photo. So just a nice thing to have. And the usability is nice in my opinion. But this would conclude all the tweaks and tricks that I wanted to share, and if you found them helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.